You went to bed. You slept. And still, you woke up feeling like something was missing. Not just tired, but drained. Like someone had broken in and stolen whatever little energy you had left. But how is that possible if you did everything right? What if rest is not being interrupted, but hijacked in the dark by things you never even noticed? You blame the night. You say maybe you went to bed too late, maybe the mattress is off, maybe you just have a restless brain. But the truth is, your energy is being drained long before your head ever hits the pillow. The thieves don't just show up at night. They follow you through the day, slowly unraveling your capacity to recharge before rest even begins. You start the evening already overstimulated, overwhelmed, and overcommitted. You try to squeeze in a little recovery at the very end, but the body doesn't work that way. Rest is not a button you push when everything else is done. It is a system that depends on what came before it. And if the hours leading up to bed are chaotic or unresolved, your nervous system will carry that chaos into the night. The problem isn't always sleep. It's what is attached to your sleep. It's the habits that chip away at your ability to sink deep. It's the invisible forces you let in without realizing they are doing damage. The noise, the pressure, the emotional weight. These don't just make rest difficult. They make it incomplete. And you feel the cost every morning in the form of fog, fatigue, and frustration. You are not failing to rest because you are doing something wrong in bed. You are failing to rest because energy is being stolen in moments that seem innocent. It's not about sleeping longer. It's about protecting your energy from the things that quietly bleed it dry. And once you start seeing them for what they are, you can finally start reclaiming what rest was always meant to give you. You say you are just winding down. Just one more scroll, one more video, one more reply. But your phone isn't helping you rest. It's keeping you tethered to stimulation. Behind every notification, every flashing image, every piece of content, there's a small spike of alertness. Your body feels it. Your brain reacts. Even if you think you are calm, your system stays slightly on edge, waiting for the next hit. The glow of the screen tricks your brain into thinking it is still daytime. It messes with your melatonin. It tells your body to stay ready. This is not just about blue light. It is about attention. It is about emotion. Your phone pulls you into arguments, comparisons, fantasies, headlines, and endless loops of unfinished thought. That isn't relaxation. That's fragmentation. And your energy pays the price. The worst part is, it feels good. It feels comforting because it numbs, because it distracts you from what you do not want to feel. But numbness isn't rest. It just delays the tension, buries it a little deeper, and robs you of the mental stillness that real sleep requires. You're not relaxing. You're postponing peace. And that postponement keeps your energy trapped in cycles it never gets to exit. If you want real rest, you have to disconnect on purpose. Not because it is a rule, but because your body needs a moment without input. A moment to come down from the day without trying to be entertained, updated, or comforted by a glowing rectangle. This thief is quiet. It smiles while it steals. And until you shut it off, it will keep pulling energy from you, one notification at a time. You think it's harmless. A little snack, a sip of something sweet, maybe a late coffee to finish the day strong. But these are not just indulgences. They are biological alarms. Your body sees food and stimulants as a reason to stay awake. Digestion ramps up. Your blood sugar spikes. Your internal systems switch into motion instead of winding down. And before you even realize it, rest becomes harder to reach. Caffeine is obvious, but it's not the only thief. Sugar can be just as sneaky. Alcohol, too. It feels like a sedative in the moment, but later it fragments your sleep, kicks you into shallow cycles, and leaves you groggy instead of rested. Even a late-night meal that seems innocent can keep your body too active to drop into full recovery mode. You may fall asleep, but that sleep won't be deep. The truth is, your body needs a window of calm before it can shift into rest. That means slowing digestion. That means turning off the stimulants, even the subtle ones. But we often eat at night not because we're hungry, but because we're drained. We crave comfort, not calories. We use food to unwind because nothing else in our life is slowing down. And so the habit forms, quietly costing us energy. Rest does not begin at bedtime. It begins with how gently you treat your system in the hours before. If your body is working to process stimulation, it cannot fully restore you. The thieves here are small, habitual, and often emotional. But the cost is real. And the only way to protect your rest is to stop feeding the habits that are quietly stealing it. You brush your teeth, climb into bed, and turn off the light. But your mind is just getting started. Every conversation you didn't finish, every to-do list you ignored, every worry you shoved to the back of your brain, they all come flooding in like they've been waiting for their turn. This isn't insomnia. This is a nervous system holding tension that was never given permission to release. You spent the entire day holding it together, being strong, being functional, smiling when you wanted to scream. And now, in the dark, your brain finally has space to process. But it doesn't whisper, it shouts. Because mental load doesn't disappear. It waits. It lingers. It tightens your chest and pulls at your thoughts until even sleep feels like another item you're failing to complete. People don't talk about this part. They call it overthinking or anxiety. But often, it's emotional backlog, unspoken words, suppressed reactions, stuff you swallowed just to get through the day. And now, your mind is replaying every detail like a broken projector. You're not broken. You're just carrying too much. And the weight doesn't vanish just because you're lying still. To protect your energy, you have to release what you've been holding before your head hits the pillow. That could be journaling. That could be crying. That could be telling the truth to someone who needed to hear it. Whatever it is, it must be felt or said or written or released. Because what stays locked inside will show up in your rest, robbing you of the recovery your soul is begging for. Even your sleep has become another thing to optimize, another task to get right. You track it with apps, judge it by the numbers, wake up feeling like a failure if your watch says you didn't hit your REM goal. What was once a natural, healing process is now a competition. You are not sleeping. You are performing rest, and it is exhausting in a whole new way. There is so much pressure to be perfect, even in the way you recover. You scroll through tips, hacks, and nighttime routines like there's a gold medal for who rests best. You feel guilty for sleeping in, anxious about waking up. You try to control sleep like it's a spreadsheet, but sleep isn't something you win. It's something you surrender to. And that surrender is exactly what all the pressure takes from you. The irony is painful. The more you try to control your sleep, the more fragile it becomes. The more you force it, the more it slips away. Because rest cannot exist in the same space as judgment. And when your inner voice critiques your every move, even at night, you carry tension into a space that's supposed to restore you. You are not underperforming. You are over-monitoring a process that needs your trust. Sleep is not a performance. It is a relationship with your body, one built on safety, rhythm, and permission. If you want real energy, you have to let go of the myth that sleep is something to perfect. It is something to protect. And the moment you stop trying to win the night is the moment your body can finally begin to truly rest. You tell yourself it's no big deal. That fight, that phone call, that offhand comment that stayed with you long after the other person moved on. But your body remembers. Your nervous system carries that friction into the night like it's still happening. Even after the words have stopped, the energy they left behind clings to you, tightening your chest and stealing your ability to unwind. Some people don't drain you with yelling or chaos. They do it with silence, with emotional avoidance, with expectations that you're too exhausted to keep meeting. And night becomes the only moment you're not performing for them. So instead of resting, your brain replays what you wish you'd said, what you swallowed, what you're still holding on to without realizing it. These little leaks in your relationships can do more damage to your rest than caffeine or screens ever could, because they erode your sense of safety. And without safety, your body cannot fully relax. It stays alert. It stays guarded. Even in sleep, you're bracing for the next moment of discomfort, which means your recovery is never complete. You are allowed to protect your peace at night. That might mean silence. That might mean setting a boundary. That might mean not replying to the late-night message from the person who never really hears you. Sleep is sacred. And if someone's presence disrupts it, it is okay to step away. You are not being cold. You are finally choosing rest over residue. You say you're fine, over and over. You say it so often you start to believe it. But deep down, you know it's not true. Your body aches in places you can't point to. Your emotions feel distant, foggy, unreachable. And every night, instead of processing how you really feel, you pack it tighter under a smile that's become too familiar to question. The cost of pretending to be okay doesn't show up during the day. It shows up at night, when you're finally alone. When there's no one left to impress or reassure or take care of. That's when the truth starts whispering. And because you've buried it so deep, it doesn't come out as tears or words. It comes out as tension, fatigue, shallow sleep, and waking up still tired. Fine is the mask you wear to survive a world that rarely makes space for realness. But you can't heal what you keep hiding. And the longer you convince yourself that nothing's wrong, the more your body will try to tell you otherwise. That exhaustion? It's not laziness. It's unspoken emotion. That emptiness? It's not a phase. It's a signal. Your nervous system is waving a white flag. You deserve more than survival. You deserve to feel what you feel without apology. And if the only place you can be honest is in the dark, under the covers, with the door closed, start there. Speak the truth to yourself. Admit what hurts. Because no matter how strong you've been pretending to be, your rest will only begin where your honesty does. You know something isn't right. You feel it every morning when you wake up tired. Every night when your body begs for rest, but your mind won't cooperate. You've read the articles, watched the videos, tried the tips. And still, the exhaustion lingers like fog. Not just physical fatigue, but emotional depletion. Like your soul has been living on low battery for years. And it starts to feel permanent. You tell yourself you should just try harder. Be more disciplined. Fix it already. But you're not lazy. You're overwhelmed. And overwhelmed people don't need more tasks. They need relief. They need space. But this world doesn't give you much of that. It rewards output, not introspection. It praises you for pushing through, but never for pausing. So you keep going, even when stopping might save you. And that's where the trap tightens. Because the more exhausted you feel, the more you doubt your ability to fix it. You start thinking maybe this is just who you are now. Maybe tired is your baseline. Maybe joy is for other people. But that's a lie. A slow, heavy lie whispered by burnout. You were not born to feel this numb. You were just never taught how to truly restore. Change doesn't begin with a perfect plan. It begins with a quiet decision. One small, quiet rebellion against the pressure to perform. One choice to listen inward instead of chasing outward. The power to shift is not gone. It's just buried under fatigue. And the moment you stop blaming yourself for being tired is the moment you begin to remember your strength. This is your turning point. Not a dramatic life overhaul, not a perfect routine, but a choice. A choice to stop leaking energy to things that don't nourish you. To finally stop apologizing for needing rest, for needing silence, for needing space. You are allowed to live a life that doesn't constantly drain you. You are allowed to be well. The world taught you to measure your worth by your productivity, to sacrifice your needs in the name of performance. But deep inside, there's a part of you that remembers how to rest, how to feel, how to just be. That version of you is still alive, still reachable. Not broken, not weak, just waiting for permission to re-emerge. That permission has to come from you. Start small. Say no once. Close your eyes without picking up your phone. Feel your breath without needing to fix anything. These are not lazy acts. They are sacred ones. Every time you choose peace over pressure, you take back a piece of yourself. And one by one, those pieces become wholeness. A wholeness that no app, no hustle, no achievement could ever replace. This isn't just about sleep. It's about coming back home to yourself. Your energy is sacred. Your rest is revolutionary. And your healing starts the moment you decide that you are worthy of a life that doesn't just look okay on the outside, but feels safe, calm, and alive on the inside. Take that first step, breathe, and begin again.